ready for his first pro debut in the under 202 class.
That's right, yeah.
He's here today for you guys, really, so you can ask him questions and get a bit of a background on what it's like to be a pro bodybuilder. So we'll open up to Shaun. If you can just sort of give us a bit of background, how you got into bodybuilding, your background in training, what it's like to be a pro, and then we'll open up the questions afterwards.
Sure. Well, my name's Shaun. Nice to meet you all. With regards to training, I started playing rugby at the age of 10 when I went to secondary school, basically. The school that I went to was a rugby school. They didn't allow us to play football, which I absolutely loved at the time. But I took on rugby. I played that, very successful at rugby. I played for England schoolboys, under 16s, under 17s, played for the under 21s. Actually turned pro. I was at London Irish and Richmond. And then I had a severe injury to my right leg. And so on and so forth. I lost form, and my rugby career somewhat fell by the wayside, basically. But I continued doing a bit of weights to strengthen up my legs as just a healing thing, basically. And the weights somewhat progressed from there. But my background is, I mean, my dad's brother was a bodybuilder from the West Indies back in the 70s. And he had a absolutely awesome physique. And I remember in primary school, because he used to work in the local sports centre that my primary school used to go to. And my class used to get there, and my uncle would walk out in this t-shirt with bulging muscles everywhere, and you know, us 5-year-olds would be looking at him, and everyone would be like, "Wow, Shaun, is that your uncle?" So I'd be like, I think that's probably where the seed was first planted with regards to training and wanting to build a really good physique, basically, you know. As I say, with regards to rugby, I stopped playing that now about 9 years ago. I continued training at a local leisure centre. I had no ambition whatsoever to compete, none whatsoever. I just loved training, basically. It was a form of discipline for me. You know, going through my teens and adolescence and into young adulthood and that, while all the rest of my mates were going rounds, getting up to no good, mugging people, you know, it would just be me by myself with my gym bag, you know, going down to the gym, basically. And I suppose in some ways I got solitude in going to the gym, and for me it was a way of focusing not just on becoming, you know, building my physique, but on life in general, basically. You know, I really felt that it helped me to focus that much more, basically, you know. So, as I say, I was training at a leisure centre for a while, and I wanted to progress a bit. The leisure centre, the weights weren't that great there, so there was a local bodybuilding gym called Genesis Gym in Wembley. So I decided to leave the leisure centre in July of 2006, and I made my way to Genesis. The owner there is a British powerlifting champion called Dave Bulldog Beatty, and he's seen me pass by a number of years, and he was always trying to get me into the gym to come and train at Genesis, but I just basically wasn't ready. It just wasn't something that I wanted to do, basically. And I finally made the move from the leisure centre to Genesis Gym, and when I got there, there were about 5 guys preparing for the 2006 British Championships, and I was in awe of the buzz and I suppose the camaraderie of these guys getting ready for the show. You know, I was like, wow, this is absolutely awesome. They're training, you know, really intensely. They're egging each other on, and it just looked something like I wanted to do, basically. So I thought about it, but still I had my doubts about competing, so I just dismissed it until probably about a month down the line of me training at that gym. One of the guys that was getting ready for the show, I won't mention his name, he said to me, you know, you're quite a big guy, but I don't think you could I don't think you could go through with a diet and get up on stage, you know. So I found that a bit of a narky comment and a bit disrespectful, because he didn't know me and he didn't know what my you know, my mental psyche's like. You know, you put my back up against the wall and I'm coming at you over and over and over and over again. And I basically said to him, you know, when's the next show, basically, you know, in London, you know, if you want, I'll do that, just to prove it to you. So he said to me, by this time it was just a few weeks out from the 2006 British, and he said, you know, we'll do the London and South East. That's, you've got about 6-7 months, so do that. So I said, okay, I'll do that show then. So I started dieting for that show, my first show in January of 2007, and I had not a blasted clue. I was with my tuna, starving myself, and my diet was absolutely horrendous, you know, and I was ringing up people, okay, well, what do I eat next, you know? What do I eat at this time? Okay, can I drink this? You sure I can't have a chocolate bar? You know, things like that, basically, you know. So it was a struggle. My first show, because it was a long diet. I did about 15-20 weeks for my first show, because I was carrying quite a bit of fat as well. So, yeah. So time went on. The show got closer. I wouldn't actually say that I was that nervous at all. I was more excited about my show than anything else. And I remember getting ready to go on stage, really, not expecting anything. I didn't think I was particularly that good, really. Obviously, people in the gym see you, you know, when you're in condition, people say, you know, Shaun, you look quite good, you know. But that as my first show, I think is still my best win and most memorable show to date, because I didn't really have any expectations of anything, basically. You know, I went there, and obviously I done really well, and people that, you know, I saw in magazines when I was young, like Ian Dow, who's a pro bodybuilder, and a few other pro bodybuilders that were there, like Eddie Abu. You know, after I won, they came up to me and said, you know, you're the best thing that we've seen in absolute years. And it was a complete shock to me. And as I say, that was probably the best feeling I've had so far to date. Hopefully, you know, in the next few weeks, that'll be an even better feeling when I win. After that, after winning that, I suppose I got quite a bit of publicity on the forums and things like that, and the magazines, which was quite nice. Was it pressure? No, I just wanted to perform better than I did previously, really. And so I set about trying to rectify bits in my diet that I felt wasn't up to scratch. Didn't have long in between, really, the Southeast and getting ready for the British. I think I only had like about 8 to 10 weeks. And that time I had a close friend of mine, Kimberly Ann Jones. She was of great help as well. She's really well known on the bodybuilding scene, and she was very knowledgeable. And she gave me loads of help, as well as Ian Dow and people like that, basically. So again, I went to the British as a first-timer and done really well there, and that was absolutely fantastic, you know. And I suppose it was a stepping stone as to where I am now, you know. I suppose, you know, I didn't have any inkling or any thoughts of becoming pro. It still was not even near my code of thoughts or anything like that, basically. You know, I just wanted to just be a good bodybuilder, you know, go winning amateur shows, and that was about it. But then after winning the first timers at the British, I was given an invite to compete at the Arnold Classic. And I know I said previously that I was, you know, I come out fighting all the time, but I felt at the time that the Arnold Classic was a stage too far for me to take at that time. So I decided to turn down the invite and wait till the British of the next year, basically, to compete again. I just basically didn't think I was ready for it. I just thought it was too soon. I needed to improve certain body parts, and at the time, you know, the Arnold Classic, well, the first couple of years, it wasn't a pro qualifier, or you couldn't get your pro card at that show, but the standard is so unbelievably high. You've got world champions, former world champions, even former pros that have left the pro ranks and come back to the amateur ranks competing at the Arnold Classics, and the physiques you get there are absolutely phenomenal. So I had my mind set on going to the British in 2008 and possibly winning the light heavies and the overall. I suppose I had seeds of doubts in my mind whether they would have given me the overall that year, as I had just been a first timer the previous year, basically. So I suppose, you know, if I had to admit it, yes, I didn't go into it wholeheartedly believing that I was going to win the overall. But, you know, it was only my second show, and I still had so much to learn with regards to how my body responds to certain cardio sessions, how long I've got to do cardio for, how intense, you know, how long I should train for, what's the best foods to eat, whether I respond better to high carbs or low carbs, or high fats or low fats. So it was still very much a learning curve that year. And I remember that the run-up to the British in 2008, I was ill the week before, and it was probably the worst week of my life, actually, because the British was only a week away, and I was throwing up, I was in the toilet, I was absolutely, totally wasted, basically, you know. So I weren't too sure whether I was going to step on stage that weekend. But I got better by the Friday, and left to go down to Nottingham, and won the light heavies, not in the best of shapes, you know. I've always admitted that Barney, who came second that year, could have quite easily have won. It was a flip of a coin, really, you know. Barney was absolutely awesome that year as well. And in some ways, yeah, I was quite fortunate to win that. I will always be honest, you know, and say that. But I was given the invite again to the Arnold Classic after that British. And I was really determined this time to really go to the Arnold Classic and make a mark for myself, as I didn't come in 100% for the British, and I didn't win the overall that year. I lost out to James Llewellyn, who's got an absolutely awesome physique, but I will beat him in 3 weeks' time. You can put that down. So yeah, I was really disappointed with my showing at the British in 2008, really disappointed. I was absolutely gutted, absolutely gutted. And then took some time out, regrouped. I then had to go with my tail between my legs, and I went up to James and I said to James, you know, you beat me a few weeks ago, please can you prep me for the Arnolds, you know? So he decided, yeah, you know, he'd like to work with me.